and welcome to our second mukbang.
And this one we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about our vegan journey.
So pull up a chair, get something to eat, and just sit down and relax with us while we eat our dinner.
Stop! I want to get off! First off, Anne, what the heck have you made here, my darling?
Okay, today, and I have got the recipe for you. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it. So we've got like a low-fat fried rice, which was done in water. I've done some baked tofu, and we've got our beautiful greens here, some cos lettuce, and that's
my fave.
Oh, Dave loves that. Okay, so our vegan journey. Dave and I used to live in Brisbane, in Queensland, Australia, and we would say, and that's why, hence the previous name of our channel, that we were asleep to what's going on around the planet, and also in relation to the food industry. As far as I'm concerned, animal cruelty was a couple of chickens in a cage, and that's all I knew about it. And then when we came to Mackay, we've been in Mackay for about 5 years, we woke up to so many things. We came into a community of people, like-minded people, we got involved in crystals and meditation and all that new age stuff, and we sort of found ourselves in a completely different place. So we started off first as vegetarians because I was looking for some health foods for us, and I was looking into raw food. And I remember saying to Dave, and you can answer the question, how do you feel, Dave, about going raw vegan?
Well, of course, my standard answer to that was, what's a vegan?
A vegan? Well, Dave,
I had no idea.
If we went vegan, that means you would have no cheese, no eggs, and no milk.
And was I happy about that? I'd already given up the meat and all that stuff, but she wanted me to cut off the main thing I love, which is cheese.
So
I absolutely love cheese.
So your response was a big...
No way in hell.
Okay, so we went vegetarian for about a year. So we started eating a lot of Indian food, and of course the problem with vegetarian food is you tend to overdose on the cheese and overdose on the milk and the eggs and that type of thing.
Never overdose on the cheese, it was great stuff.
Thinking that you needed the protein and you needed the calcium, because we're still under that influence about the dairy industry.
I mean, you brought up as a child, I mean, I remember going to school and you used to get your little containers of milk that you had every day, and the whole thing was all around, because I mean, don't forget the milk and the dairy and meat industry is huge. I mean, there's big money there. So of course they want you to eat their meat, even though that it's not good for you, and even though that they're also murdering animals. And also the dairy. See, we gave up the meat pretty quick, but the dairy was different. We didn't think there was a real big drama with the dairy. But as Anne will tell you, the whole dairy industry is not good for you anyway. We're not cows.
So what were we actually, what type of milk and cheeses were we actually consuming at that time though?
True, we were doing all organic. We changed, when we went to vegetarian, we went organic. I think the milks was like, at one stage we had the A2 milk, that was one of them. Then we went along to Cleopatra or something or other. What was that milk called?
Cleopatra's bathing milk, raw
bathing
milk.
It was raw milk. It like come from farms as a kid, and we used to drink milk straight from the cow. Well, apparently you got to have it all homogenised and beaten to death or whatever the heck they do with it nowadays. Anyway, the Cleopatra one, they called it, that wasn't for human consumption. You were allowed to bathe in it, but you couldn't drink it. But it was basic straight milk. It was no added to, it didn't do anything to it. It was just straight clean milk.
And at that time I was making milk kefir with that. So we were having a lot of kefir, which was a lot nicer than actually the milk, because it was better for you because of the probiotics in it. And that's before I discovered water kefir. So it was a slow progression of finding out more and more things. I think even as vegetarians we weren't aware of the dairy industry and the things that were happening to the animals. And it was only when we watched Gary Yourofsky's speech on going veganism, Dave sat down with me and we saw a clip of these poor dairy cows and the farmer, as a joke, he was poking them in the udders with a pitchfork, and he had all his dairy cows tied up like slaves. And Dave just wanted to get on a plane, go to America and do something with this guy. And
it wasn't going to be pleasant, I can tell you that much.
Basically, we were instant vegans from that point.
He actually wrestled a calf, I'm talking a baby calf, to the ground. He was punching it in the head, in a headlock. And he thought that was funny. And you might as well get a grandma and beat a grandma up. It's just piss weak in my viewpoints. And yeah, it turned my guts. And that was the end of it. I mean, that's when we started on the trail of the veganism. And veganism is not talking about just meat and cutting out meat and dairy. It is a lot more. It's about the movement of cruelty towards animals and trying to fix the planet, because we are killing the planet at the moment with the amount of meat and junk we go along and eat. All this processed food is terrible. And all we're asking is to go back to just basically
natural foods,
natural-based
peasant foods. Because this is what you would call peasant food, thanks to that vegan couple. They got us onto the peasant food. We did start off doing a lot of raw food, and I actually taught raw food from home, and I do have a raw course for beginners. There is a link below, and there'll be a discount link, so you can get it a lot cheaper from here on YouTube.
Yep.
So we basically have a mixture now of raw foods, fruits, smoothies, and peasant food, of course. So we did go for a phase of raw to fork, but we don't want to put ourselves in a box where we say, right, we can eat this at this time and that at that time. We want to have variety, and we don't want to get too bored with what we're doing.
And don't forget, we did also start off as a fruitarians actually too, where we just had juices and stuff like that. We did a 30-day fast, and we were basically just juices all the way through all of that. And then we went to the raw. Raw is great. Very hard to continue while you're working a lot of hours, because it's not that easy to have it.
Because I was sending Dave to work with smoothies, because he drives a truck at the moment. So he was drinking smoothies and eating bananas, while his counterparts were getting out at the service stations and buying all the greasy, horrible muck that they do. So we actually have a few videos on the raw vegan truckie, if you'd like to have a look at them. So we can link some of them below or after the video.
No, that was back in my juicing days. So yeah, we went into raw. We still have raw. I mean, we don't have as much, but we have in between peasant food, raw food. We try and keep it as a high carb, low fat diet. Anne's more technical than I am with it. And yeah, I mean, that's how we got here. That's taken, now we've been full vegans for nearly 4 years now. Something like that.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years.
Something like that. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and like now it's a bit easier. To be honest, it wasn't that easy. Everybody thought we were whack jobs and all sorts of stuff. Everybody thinks you're nuts. And it is difficult. We've seen a lot of videos where people say it was difficult in restaurants and stuff like that, which it is. A lot of people have no idea what a vegan is. So quite often when I'm in a restaurant, I just go, no meat or dairy. They kind of get it, and they don't kind of get the cheese part is actually, you know, there's a lot of mucking around, but you can actually sit down, and every restaurant we go to when we're out and stuff like that, there's no problems anymore. You just go down and say, well, this is the menu, could you take this out? Can you take that out? Has this got meat and egg, whatever? You know, and they usually go, yes, no. They go and see their chef, they come back, and you can use this, this and this, but we can go along and take that out of this, and you can get a meal out of it. I mean, you don't have to starve to death. There's more and more as time goes, and there's more and more vegan restaurants, and the food is great for you. It's good for you. It's all organic. It's all very natural foods. It's not processed. It hasn't got pumped full of chemicals and all the other horrible shit that all this other stuff has. So, you know.
I make a really great cheese and salami platter with plant foods. So I make what's called a vegan version of the salami or pepperoni. And I make some nut cheeses with the cashews and with the macadamias. And people coming over to visit, they don't even know that they're eating vegan. Like, you know, we might serve like sausage rolls sometimes, or sausages and all that type of food. And then people say, oh, is that vegan? So, yes, it is. Because they don't know the difference.
I had the friend over a couple of days ago, and we're sitting down catch it up and all that sort of stuff. And I said, oh, you want some snags? I'm thinking he's been overseas for a couple of months, so he possibly forgot. And I've had the snags and we had the tomato sauce, you know, I had the snags, and then he was over throwing something in the garbage bin. He noticed a box sitting on the top, and he's picked it up and gone, oh, is that vegan? I said, yeah, what do you think, you're eating bloody meat in this household? So, you know, people don't know. I mean, don't get us wrong, I always thought it very strange to go along and create something that tastes like chicken and something that tastes like sausages and bacon and all that sort of stuff as a vegan. But for people that are coming across from being meat eaters to a plant-based diet, these sort of alternatives is good because you've lived most of your life. Like, I mean, to be honest, I went vegan when I was 49, so I mean, like, I've been a meat eater for most of my life. And then to be able to go across from that to straight vegetables, you kind of miss the other tastes. So the vegan industry has done the right thing where they've created food that actually tastes like something you're used to. So it's not a thing that you continue eating forever and a day, but it's something you can use to progressively go across to a full plant-based diet. So it's a great idea that they've come up with, where they've given you that choice that you can have something that tastes like something that you don't eat, but it's a good progressive channel. And when you've got guests over, you can give them stuff that they think they're eating meat, but it's not really meat. It's all vegetables. So I think it's a great idea. That's just one little thing that I call it.
And you've got the different versions and different companies. Some are better than others, especially things like the soy milk, because we love having our coffee. That's one thing we're still doing, but we get a special type of soy milk that we like in the coffee. But if you go to a place, something like McDonald's, they have a cheaper version of the soy, which is, in this country it's called Sanitarium So Good. Doesn't taste nice at all as a drink. But afterwards we're going to have some soy ice cream, and that is made by Sanitarium, so it's the same company, and they make this soy ice cream. It is to die for. But as far as the soy milk, no. So we use Vita Soy. We use one's called Milky.
Called Milky.
And if you're dining out in Australia, if you go, say, the coffee club, they have something that's called Cafe, which is a Vita Soy Cafe. And that's beautiful. You wouldn't even know you're not drinking milk. And it's the same with Bon Soy. It's another high-end soy milk. Beautiful taste. And once you've been drinking soy milk for a while, you don't even notice that you're not drinking milk. So yeah. So I mean, we started on Bon Soy, but for us, because we like our coffees, it gets rather expensive. So that's why we sort of went around to different alternatives to find out. We even had, I think it was Cafe, Coffee Club had Cafe, and we really liked it. So we went into Woolworths, I think, sold it, and they had it Cafe in there, and so we tried it out there, but that was even worse than buying Bon Soy. So over a progression of time, we've actually found Milky, which is the cheapest and it's the easiest to get hold of. You just got to remember too, there is a lot of hoo-ha about soy, you know, a lot of estrogen and stuff like that. It's if you abuse it. If you have truckloads of soy, yeah, I suppose there is a slight bit too much estrogen, but anyway. So mostly, if you have a cup of coffee a day, and I have a full coffee. If you have one of them maybe once or twice a day, it's not that big a deal. And normally when I'm working, when I'm off, I have more. When I'm working, I very rarely have coffee anyway. So, you know. But that's kind of our story, I suppose. Yeah, and then like the foods that we make, we never go without. We actually eat way too much, probably, because we love. See these bowls? And when we're talking about minimalism, these are the bowls we use when we eat. You know, we don't set up the table, we have knives and forks and little cups and saucers and all that sort of stuff. We eat out of the same plates, basically. So the pile of plates in the cupboard it's got no use. It just sits there. Occasionally comes out for something. And then we've got another cupboard with some stuff for visitors, and we don't pull them out very rarely. So we've got our 2 bowls. That's basically all you need. So,
and if you notice, they're nice and big. We like our big bowls.
So on the minimalisation thing, we haven't really started much at the moment.
No.
I need to have more time to sit down and go through some stuff. But we are planning it. We're thinking of sort of clearing out our garage so we can have a big garage sale. Just get people to come over here and see what they want. But we just wanted to let you know that it's not something we're going to do over a couple of weeks. So if you're on the journey with us, this could take 6 months to 12 months before we actually finish this step of clearing up the clutter and all that sort of stuff. The main reason that is because we have a few projects that we have to do over the next couple of months in regards to our work, and also the fact that the way the housing market here is in Mackay, there's no chance at this point in time to sell the house, but we are looking to rent it out. So we have to come over all these options, and there are a few other things that we have to get sorted. So the videos and the minimalisation thing will go on for a fair amount of time, and we'll go through things slowly for you, so that it's not something like, hey, we're going to be minimalised, and then you get the video next week, it's like, oh, we're out of here, everything's sold. It's
a process, and like Anne's saying, we have a lot of stuff, and as all you guys would know, anybody that's in our vintage and our age sort of bracket know, you acquire and you just accumulate, and you know, you're not really what you classify as hoarders, but in a lot of ways when you really sit back and start looking at it, you kind of, you know, you can't help yourself. It's just stuff you pick up. Like we've got the stuff that we've got to really sit down and think about is the stuff that we've accumulated on holidays and stuff like that. They're our memorabilia stuff that we've brought back from holidays. We've got stuff we even discussed the other day. We've got a beautiful thing we got from New Zealand for our honeymoon. And we've been thinking, well, do we keep that or don't keep that? Now, that was a major souvenir for our honeymoon, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things you've got to look at of what you're going to keep and what you're not. We even discussed, we have lighting and everything here. To be honest, we did some filming today. And we're even discussing, do we keep the lighting and all that stuff and take that with us? You know what I mean? You've got to really sit down and start thinking, because that's more stuff you've got to take. So do you keep it? Don't you keep it? You know, and it's not going to be a process that we're going to figure out overnight. It's going to take some time. So
just thought we'd let you know that it's going to be a slower process, but that might give you a bit more time too if you're wanting to do something like that, to see what the process involves. So as far as our vegan story, now that we're vegan, there's no way we can ever go back to not being vegan. There's some wonderful videos on YouTube, and some about what's happening in the vegan movement and how the movement is progressing. So like we said, it's not about just health, it's about the health of our planet, because we really, really need to look at what's happening, and the meat and dairy industry is having such a huge impact on the environment that people aren't even aware of. And we watched a video last night from Sea Shepherd. See, no one thinks about the fish in the ocean and how devastating the fishing industry is to our oceans. We've got so many dead zones, and so many beautiful animals are being caught in these nets. And the fish, they don't have voices, so they can't scream. So they're either frozen or drowned to death, you know?
Actually, we'll put a link in below. What's happening is, if everybody remembers the big oil spill by BP back in, where was the place?
In the Gulf.
Gulf.
Yeah.
Well,
Gulf
actually, we've only just found out by blundering onto that video last night that they're wanting to do it down in the Great Australian Bight. And that's, you know, more remote, more rougher down that way.
Yeah, and it's deeper water.
Deeper waters and everything, and they want to go along and do that, and they've already done that. We don't need oil. There are so many other alternatives nowadays. If people had stopped these bigger conglomerates running the whole show. But anyway, we'll put the link below, and you can actually look into it, and you can actually support them. Okay, so we'll give you the link and they'll go to their site, and then there you can actually help them, because their ships cost a lot of money.
Stop BP coming to the Great Australian Bight.
Yeah, no more.
Because if there's an oil spill down there, they'll never clean it up.
Down that way.
We'll also put a link to what's happening in the New Earth Project and the free energy movement, because all this oil business causes wars, causes poverty, causes pollution, all about oil, and we don't really need it. So you need to look into that and find out what's really happening there. So all these oil fields and all this fuel, it's not necessary. So anyway,
so this unit Ian's talking about, it's about that big, and it punches out enough power out of that thing from the Troy oil field, if you know anything about Nikola Tesla, and basically it runs all on its own, and that little unit has enough power in it to run a standard home.
Yeah, and you can make it on a 3D printer.
You don't need fossil fuels, you don't need, that's the thing too, they're talking about making the design so you can make it on a 3D printer.
So there's so many things happening in the future, right?
Yep.
So the future is all about veganism. Even if you don't want to go vegan at this point in time, you eventually have to go vegan or go onto a plant-based diet for your health.
Unless we find a couple more planets so we can feed the animals.
For your health, for the planet, and for the animals.
And for your kids and your grandchildren.
Okay, thank you for watching. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe to our channel.
Comments below if you've got any.
And ding that bell. And remember that you're never too old
to go vegan and do the right thing. Bye.
Stop!
You want to get off?
Well, get off. Off.
Jeez, don't talk to me like that. Fine.